Good morning.
Happy Friday. How's everybody doing?
Good morning, Rob.
Good morning. How are you all doing?
Good morning.
Good.
Very
good.
I'm watching the news this morning, and what did they say? Here's the opening.
Realtors sounding the alarm. If the economy continues to show strength and the Federal Reserve hikes rates again, we could see 8% mortgage rates. Our next guest says that is bad news for housing demand. Joining us now to talk about housing affordability is Logan Mohtashami. Housing.
Now, how'd you like to wake up to that, huh? Is that great news or what?
Reality.
That's the reality. Ron, you've been around higher rates, right?
Yep, 13, 14%,
So is that good or bad news?
8%.
No, like that news clip, rates going up.
Well, I mean, it's scary probably to the consumer because we got spoiled with those low interest rates. So, 8% still not that bad. I mean, 7, 8%. I mean, if you have to, refinance it or buy down the rate, you can do that. But, only because I've been in the business so long, so it doesn't bother me. 8% is not a big deal. But if you're new in the business and you're a consumer out there, it's concerning.
Rob, it's great for us.
Right, I agree.
Why is it? Who says it? Is that Eric saying it's great?
That's great. Yeah, Eric, I've been waiting for this. No more they're going to be able to list their house with their neighbor's daughter who just got a real estate license and get it sold. Now it's going to take skill and effort.
Okay.
And an experienced agent.
I also think the people that were holding on to that lower interest rate, thinking that it was going to drop, I think now they're going to try and list their home while the rate is still in the sevens in hopes they'll be able to find something before the rate does go to 8.
The rates go up.
That report is that's the media. So we don't know if that's going to really happen or not. Because I think the last update I got was yesterday. I think they were at, what the hell were they at? I think they were at 6.78.
Any lenders on with us here?
I'm not a lender, but I saw the rate sheet come out this morning.
All right.
I'm still active as a loan officer. I'm still seeing rates about 7%.
Yeah, I got one yesterday for VA 6.95%, for FHA 6.96%. So very close to 7. But it's been fluctuating. I mean, you go back 15 days or 30 days and they were lower, then they were up there again. So, I mean, it's still not that bad. I mean, really isn't. I mean, you can buy down this rate pretty easily.
I have a buyer, Rob, that just got quoted 7.5 yesterday because they're not sure what the rates are going to do. And before they lock her in, they wanted to be realistic with expectation.
And how are they behaving, Scott?
Well, their house is under contract and sold, so they don't have much choice. The problem is she's a teacher, single mom, and so the choices are just extremely limited because of her DTI and what the pre-approval is. So the rate jumping up instead of going down has made it even harder to find a new home. And that's with putting 25% down.
Yeah, what's going to happen is that a lot of these people now with the higher rates are going to have to lower their expectations for housing. Instead of buying a $600,000 house, they're going to buy a $500,000 house, which is not out of the realms. But I mean, it's like Eric said, you got to be creative. You have to have a good realtor that knows their stuff, that can help your client achieve their goals.
All right. So I'm gonna show you all a couple of slides here, and then I'm gonna have a conversation about what is good, what's bad about it, because there is good and bad to everything. So I didn't label the slides because it was just on this morning, so I'm just gonna show them to us randomly. Okay, so slide number 1, August 11th, 2023, there's 492,000 homes on the market in the entire country. I remember when we freaked out when we got below 1 million. Does anybody remember that?
Yep.
Okay. Just to give you some context, 8 years ago, there was 1.2 million, almost 3 times the amount of inventory. Here's a chart of new listing. Here's a chart of new listings of single family homes. It looks like, you know, I'm no statistician, but what do we all think inventory is going to be doing the next 4 to 6 months? We think new
Going
listings
down.
it's going to be going down, right? And
Wonderful.
here's the 30-year fixed mortgage rate. So not doom and gloom, but I created the topic of what if, because we don't know what's going to happen. I did notice yesterday that the 10-year bond was trending up to a 15-year high. And this is what's going to separate the people who are career in the business and the people who are not committed. Some of us in the industry will get second jobs, some will be afraid, and then some will be like Eric and seize the opportunity to not only gain market share, but also gain pure volume. Okay. Here's a couple of the statistics that they talked about, and I'm going to put a link to that. I recorded 2 bits of that CNBC interview. We have one of the most robust workforces that we've ever had. I think everybody's kind of aware of that, right? That's causing inflation. What that means is we have 156 million people in this country on the payroll. They're employed. It's like one of the highest numbers ever. This year, it's likely that there's going to be 4 million home sales. And what some of the experts, including the gentleman on CNBC this morning, said is that we've totally annihilated and killed the marginal buyer. So anybody who is marginal is basically on the sidelines in a large part. And we seem to hit a floor of 4 million sales a year. Okay, with 500,000 homes on the market approximately to do 4 million a year, that's going to be a low inventory level that we're going to be carrying, and we need to have a plan. That makes sense? You know,
Yep.
some of the things that we need to do, I think we need to double down. We often talk about a lot of different things that we can do in this industry. But I think we need to do something, and we need to do something extremely well. Okay. Whether it's calling expireds, whether it's, you know, developing a geographic farm, whether it's, you know, committing your business life to doing open houses. These things are going to move the needle for us in a big way. Okay. Having the dialogue and the discipline to do things consistently will ensure that your business will go up, because we'll have a bigger share of the market. If you're an expert at dabbling, you're probably going to be out of business. If you're undisciplined, you're going to probably be challenged. And the cycle that I see, and I'm looking at you, Rod, just because you talk to a lot of our people. Some people, when they get nervous, you know, they use that energy to enhance the discipline and to perform. Most people that get nervous, they freak out and they sabotage their business. Have you seen both of those directions in your career?
Of course. Yes.
And, you know, I'm going to go on a limb, Ron, and say that you're not scouring the internet for a career change, are you?
No.
That you know what works, and
Yeah.
you're going to continue teaching people what works, and what works is going to be different for everybody, but we have to commit to the activities that are going to get us over that hump. Okay. I look at the news and it doesn't thrill me, but it also tells me that we have less margin for error. To Eric's point, you know, sellers are going to, you know, need us more. And especially in certain segments, you know, I know the higher end seller, it's a little bit more challenging now because those trade up buyers are less motivated to make a move, and sentiment has probably completely flipped from the housing sentiment. Everybody was all about buying a house, paying whatever it takes, a mere 2 years ago, to now the headlines of the morning news show is, housing is in trouble. Okay. I've never thought about changing my career. I hope you haven't. And even if you're new in the business, like I see Amy's on the call here. Amy, how long have you been licensed, or how long you've been active?
Since January.
Since January. And the experience door knocking, if you did that 6 hours a week based upon our small test, how many viable sellers do you think you'd come across?
Let's say 10.
10. I mean, we had 2 great conversations in less than an hour.
Right.
And probably they were average $900 to $1 million, correct?
Yes.
So the thing is, are you willing to continue? And I'm not saying you yourself, I see you have your cats there active in the business, but are you willing to continue to do that? Everybody on this call, to grow your business in this market. And the question that we need to answer without hesitation is, hey, Amy, if I sell my house, where would I go? Right? And now that takes a little bit more talent to answer that with certainty. Okay. It takes a little bit more talent to answer that with certainty. And I don't want any volunteers to say, I feel that way. But if you do feel that way, you need to reprogram yourself, because if you're selling your house, which may be a little bit easier than historically and a little bit harder than a year ago, the biggest challenge or the biggest obstacle is, where am I going to go? And Jesus, that's what we have to be able to answer. We have to be able to ask the right questions to identify where they belong. We need to have information on other areas that might be ideal for them. I actually even saw Netta did a video about, where would you go, talking to people on the street. Those are the things that we need to do. Delaware, maybe we should highlight Delaware. I think Delaware has low property taxes, not that far if you have family here in New Jersey. We need to be creative to stimulate inventory here, and inventory stimulates more business. One sale is never one sale, because somebody's selling, somebody's buying, somebody's moving somewhere else. It starts that whole chain of activity. Okay, I wanted to talk about, let me see my note here.
Well, I was thinking about, we had a class last week when I was telling the group of agents that, when people say that, well, where would I go if I sold? But then the question you have to ask them is, that where would you want to go? And either they'll give you an answer, or they'll just say, well, we never thought about it. But, there's still going to be people out there that need to sell. The people that want to sell, to upgrade, to downgrade, upgrade, whatever, might have second thoughts. But the people who need to sell, which are divorcees, somebody that just passed away, or whatever the situation may be, or transfer, those are the people that are going to sell. So you have to target those people. You have to constantly watch the news, the news that comes in from the board from far, and research. Do a lot of researching, and you'll find some answers out of that.
So let me, I'm calling out Monmouth County agents right now. Anybody in our Monmouth County market? Anybody on the call in Monmouth County?
I am.
Okay, Carly. What was the biggest problem that we had over the past 3 years with getting support to our lenders in Monmouth County?
support to the lenders? Well, that I can't answer to because I feel like most of my deals were cash. So I guess that would be a
That's
problem. getting
that's
to-
the issue. That's the
Oh.
issue.
I've literally only done 2 transactions in the past year with lenders, not even, I think 1. Everything's been cash for me.
So this was not a set. We didn't talk about this in advance, did we?
No, not at all.
So what's happened in Monmouth County was our lenders had trouble doing a significant volume because everybody was paying cash. Now, Carly, if somebody paid cash for their house, how hard is it to leave their mortgage? They have no mortgage.
Yeah, they have none.
So they don't have a 2.5% mortgage that they're tied to, right?
Correct.
So everybody should go down to Monmouth County and get listings.
But it's funny is that like I have a perfect example is I have people being outbid with cash and significant cash. So I can't even get in this situation that you were talking about before, I have a seller and I'm doing the things necessary to try to get them to the buying table, but I can't even list their house until we find them a home. So the listings are definitely far and few in between, and we're definitely trying down in Monmouth County. So if you want to come join us, let us know.
I mean, Carly, I say that because that objection really doesn't apply in your market, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
If you have cash and you're going to be buying cash or even taking a tiny mortgage, the 8% interest rate is probably a great thing for you because it's cutting out competition, right?
100%. It's not even a problem for us.
Who's put out a video? If you don't have a mortgage, now is the time to trade up. Has anybody done that video? Has anybody sent that message out to their clients? Has anybody called people who've been in their house for 15 years or longer and said, look, now is the time for you because a lot of the other buyers are crowded out of the market and you can exploit it. I'm guessing that probably nobody's sent out an email like that. Nobody's done a video to that extent.
No, but I think it's a great idea.
Right, but like what's good about what's bad, right? And this is what's good about what's bad. Okay. I've seen a tremendous amount, even when the interest rates were crazy low, I've seen a tremendous amount of people paying cash. And I would write this down. Over 35% of the homes in New Jersey have zero mortgage, zero. And 67% have 60% equity or greater, which means they have 40% or less of debt on their home. So that's the majority of the homes have a significantly lower amount of debt due to 2 reasons. One is over time, their mortgage balances have gone down, plus the home values have gone up, giving them greater equity. So it's very conceivable a trade down buyer, right? A homeowner that's looking to downsize, that's been there for a while, can, pay off their small mortgage and buy their new place cash. And I contend to everybody on this call, there is no impact to an 18% mortgage rate to that person. As a matter of fact, bring it on for me, right? Bring those rates up so that I can take advantage as a buyer, a temporary advantage. There is structural housing shortages, but having this little pinch or this little bottleneck due to interest rates is going to create an opportunity for high down payment buyers to exploit the market. All right. Now, who's going to be honest enough to say that you really didn't think about that conceptually to get that message out?
Can you just repeat, Rob? You said 35% of the homes in New Jersey have zero mortgage. 60% have
67% have 60% equity or greater. So that means that they have a mortgage of 40% of the balance.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so with those stats, selling shouldn't be as difficult as we all make it out to be, right? Maybe the recent buyer that bought 2 years ago with 20% down at a 2.5%, 3.5% rate might find it challenging to make that move. But let's not let the exception drive the rule. Okay?
I can see a new farm area. We need to farm everybody that's been in their home a long time.
And we've been sending out postcards from people who've owned since 2004 and less. Because there's a lot of areas where, especially in the area of Sunrise, Tamarack, and they go back 1974. So we've been trying to target some of those homeowners who are still in the same house for over 20, 30 years. They might consider making a move pretty soon, either retiring or, they're just downgrading, maybe getting into a condo rather than a house.
Empty nesters.
Yeah.
Same thing in Coral Springs and Parkland. I'm sure absolutely in Boca. I mean, if you look at that market as an opportunity.
Daddy, come back home.
I'm going to mute everybody and then just unmute yourself when you want to contribute here. Colleen, who do you think makes more money, a general practice physician or a specialist?
A specialist, of course.
What do you think most real estate professionals in your career have focused on? Do you think they all try to be generalists as a overall rule and try to?
As an overall rule, they do. But I see the most successful realtors specializing.
So if you want to use this opportunity to pick one, maybe two things to really be the best at, let's do that and not leave any margin for lost business. And the overwhelming objection when I talk to homeowners is, where would I go? And we need to answer that question. And the first person that we need to convince that there's a solution is sitting in your chair, right? You need to have that fluid dialogue, and it's not the gotcha question. Okay.
To bring up, we have an agent, Barack, in Boca, who constantly overcomes that objection. He goes knocking on doors in the area where his clients would like to live, and he inevitably always finds someone that is willing to sell. So it's he solves it. He solves that. I would have to say that 75% to 80% of his transactions are that.
It's I mean, it's not surprising, Colleen, and I know we've talked about it a lot, but I think that we need to really be prepared for the perfect storm coming in, and we need to figure out how do we professionally exploit it to the benefit of our clients. Okay.
I believe it's going to be an opportunity for us, because those agents that those professionals that go back to their basics and work their markets, work their farms, are going to find far more success, because we're eliminating competition. Those people that are part-time, just got a real estate license to get that one or two deal a year, are going to be gone, because there'll be nothing there for them.
It's almost
go ahead.
It's almost like 2007, 2008. Remember when everything dropped out when the bottom dropped out? Everybody left the business, and the strong survived, and we all made money.
I was just gonna say it was probably some of our better years.
So I'm going to say to the veterans and looking at Colleen and Ron, that I've never seen anyone do all the right activities and fail. I've never seen
I
it.
agree 100%.
And I'm in no way endorsing with this next statement, Berkshire Hathaway real estate, because this is probably a better example of, you can be good at rail cars and insurance, but maybe not real estate as well, because we're solo focused on real estate at Remax. But Warren Buffett, who is probably one of the best investors in a generation, does anybody know what his probably most famous saying about market trends is and investing? Like, when do you get to be aggressive and when are you fearful?
Buy when people are fearful, sell when people are optimistic.
Right. So be aggressive when everybody's afraid and be fearful when everybody is aggressive, right? So you have to be a little bit of a contrarian, right? That's how he made his money. And this is the contrarian moment in real estate, okay? This is our time to shine. This is our time to not, don't put your head down, okay? Maybe things turn around, maybe things get better quickly, but don't bank on it. What if, okay? Everybody I see on this call here, we are all career people, and I'm looking forward to attacking this market and helping an abundant number of people figure out how to interpret the market in their own lens. How does it help them make the right decision? I mean, people aren't going to be homeless because the rates are 8%. Let's be honest about it, right? People are still going to need to transact. I don't think divorce attorneys are getting to the point where they're like, oh boy, interest rates are up. People aren't going to get divorced anymore. As a matter of fact, there probably might be more divorces because the credit card debt went up, right?
Exactly.
And-
Opportunity.
And there's segments of this business that are going to be abundant. Okay. And it's just a matter of, our margin of error and, our ability to be undisciplined and to wing it is narrowed. Right. And who thinks that when the market was crazy, that there are some agents that develop bad habits because it was getting easier? Anybody feel that way?
Yep.
Ron, you've seen agents that had bad habits, right? Most of those agents are now part of the 156 million with W-2 jobs, right?
Nice.
They've left the business.
Yep.
So, I think that what we need to do is we need to do one or two things really, really well. We need to have the dialogue. We need to share with the people that we can influence what's going on. There's 75 people on today's call on a Friday morning in August. Okay. If everybody contacted just 10 people a day for the next 30 days, think about how much we'd impact the state of the real estate markets in both New Jersey and in Florida. Right? I'm just going to calculate that just because I'm curious. In 1 month, so that's 22,500 people that we can influence just by talking to 10 people a day. Just the people on this call. If it was the entire company, it would be probably 2 mega stadiums full just for our team in New Jersey and Florida.
And
All
I
right.
think that those 10 people a day could all include your sphere of influence.
I think it should be your sphere of influence. I think it should be, whatever, it should be a combination, Colleen, right? Your sphere of influence definitely needs to know.
Absolutely.
Yes, clients.
Right.
And the for sale by owners because they're struggling. And there will be some expired listings, believe it or not.
Yep.
I'd like to just say something about one of our agents, Lisa, who has been working her farm area. And she told me yesterday, was very exciting, that she got a call out of the blue. Somebody wants her to come and list their house. She didn't even know who they were. So very, very proud of her that she's been, out there doing it,
She's a hard
working
worker.
it. Yes, she
Hard
is.
worker. And she really puts her mind to her
And
business.
she's in a it'll be like $1.2 million. It's a high-end area, and it's probably only maybe 10 years old, 12 years old, Parkland Bay. But she's
5
been
years old.
working it.
5 years,
Nine,
Colin. 5.
9 years.
5.
Go ahead, Lisa.
It's
Tell 'em.
5 years old.
Oh, all right. And there's constant turnover, and she's capturing that market.
She holds open houses. She talks to people and has conversations, at least 3 or 4.
And she attends all the social events in the community, right, Lisa?
That's the best part. Yes, that's how I get a lot of my business, from the social events, talking to people, getting to know them and doing activities together.
Gaining trust.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get that listing that you were telling me about the other day?
Yes, that's the one. Yes, that's the one that she wanted to list in February, but now we're listing it next Wednesday.
Right.
Hi, Rob. This is Karma with Remax. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Karma?
Good, good. Right. I just want to add to your interest rate. Having the interest rate went higher, it market a little bit of the seller. He trying to feel now the market is starting to go down a little bit. Number one, the homeowners start to be more flexible in price. Number two, and in business, just go to the work. I have over 15 years with him in the business for a long time. Thank you.
What are you talking about?
Thank you for sharing. So I am actually, I'm gonna admit my delinquency here. I meant to send this out early this week, but I'm sending an email out now to everybody in Florida. And last weekend, I walked with the agents in New Jersey, Saturday and Sunday for the entirety of those days. I did 8.2 and 8.8 miles worth of door knocking with your colleagues. This email is going out right now. If you want to do it Saturday or Sunday, please just reply and I'll fit you in the calendar. Saturday is going to be in Palm Beach. Sunday is going to be in Broward County. But that's just one segment of the things that we can do.
We sent the invite this morning to everyone, Rob, through Constant Contact.
Good. I sent it through, so you'll have it twice. But if you can reply to my email, I guess if they reply to Constant Contact, Faza, you forward it to me. But I am not, I think the 4 million sales is probably coming close to a rock bottom. I think that if we can just answer the question, if I sell, where am I going to go, and not be intimidated in the least with that question, where you actually look forward to it and you're actually disappointed if you don't get that question.
Oh, a lot of people, they are doing that. That's the question that we get asked, almost the time. And also, oh, we waiting because the market is going to crash. I said, when? Let me know when, how? Because here in Broward, in the first 7 months of the year, we have 23 sales, 2,300 closed sales every month. On average, every month, close 2,300 homes here that they close. So people are still moving, people are still buying and selling, that they are. And a lot of times people forget that real estate is not complicated. You got to find a buyer, you got to find a seller and put it together. And in order to do that, you need to make contact. You need to talk to people. You need to have a conversation with people. And the more people you talk to, the more chance you have to get that house that they want to sell, to get that guy that wants to buy. And you just got to keep going. Don't worry about what everybody, even 4 million homes that they are going to sell this year. How many do you want? I'm happy if I get 30, 40 closed sales because it's $400,000 or $500,000 in my pocket because my average check is $10,000. So how many do you want? And go and take it. It's up to you to get it.
So, you know, if you have that question, okay, it identifies a need, in my opinion, right? And if somebody says, I'm waiting for the housing market to crash, you know, I would say, you know what, let's have a discussion. Let's assume, Tony, you think the housing market's going to crash. If there are more people employed than ever, okay, there are less homes coming on the market and more people wanting to buy. With that set of facts, what do you think is likely to happen? I mean, we have interest rates at a 15-year high. We have inventory at probably a post-World War II low. And we have record employment, and we have a lot of liquidity due to COVID funds that were dispersed. You know, if I was to ask you, with that set of facts, like, how does one draw the conclusion that the real estate market's going to crash? I don't get it.
The other thing is that nationwide, 35% of the deals, they are cash deals. Here in Florida, especially in the Tri-County area, Miami, Broward, and Palm Beach, we are higher than 35% that they are in cash deals. So if somebody's putting money into it, his own money, not Chase, not Wells Fargo, how is the market going to crash? How?
Right.
You know,
and Tony, if you there are some people this market's not right for them, right? But it's not everybody.
Yeah, sure.
There's a large segment of the population that it's time for them to do something now. But if they're watching the news, what are they doing? They're, oh, I can't find a place to go. I can't do anything. So, you know, forget about our business plan, right? Tony, how long have you been selling real estate?
Since 1983. This is my 40th year.
So you've been selling real estate for 40 years. So you might even be on the third generation of helping people.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Your first clients.
Oh, yeah. I sold the same house 3-4 times already.
And you probably sold homes to grandchildren of people that bought from you at this point, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Now, what I'm going to say to you is, beyond your business planning, sitting with your manager, sitting with your spouse, business planning yourself, you and everybody on this call has a moral obligation to be honest with your clients and give them information that will cause some people to take action and some people not to. And if the percentage of people was, I don't know, maybe 25% of the people were considering buying a house, you know, 2 years ago, right? In the next year or 2 years, maybe now that number is 10%. So to me, all that means is you need to contact 2.5 times the amount of people that you did before to get the business. And I'm going to say, raise my hand, that I've been negligent in keeping in touch consistently, you know, with the people I try to influence. And for that, I apologize. But for us, you know, we need to inform people about how this might be an opportunity. I've seen zero on the internet, and I watch a lot of people, see nobody talking about the opportunity in real estate in this market. Everybody's like a walking zombie of the dead. Right? And when you go out and you talk to people or you call people, if you call expired listings, you know, the natural instinct always is, no, the house isn't on the market. And then if you press, you know, the thing is, well, you know, if we sold, we don't know where we would go. And a lot of people, oh, okay, no worries, I'll call you back again. Like, that is where the conversation starts, in my opinion.
Mhm.
You know, if you sold your house, you know, where would you go? That's not a problem. We could find a property for you. You know, as a matter of fact, our organization, if it's not on the market, you know, we have teams that will door knock, do direct mail. We'll figure out a solution for you.
That's for sure. The other problem, not the problem, the other thing I see doing, which is for me is the most dumb senile thing that sellers do. And I was in Coral Springs, my a couple of days ago to see a client, and he had no one but two on his block that these people sell, which I call the vultures. All these investors, they sell it to them because it's cash. I don't have to show the house. I will just walk away. But in the meantime, they lose 20, 30% of their hard-earned equity. So how do you explain this to people that, this is the best market for you as a seller to get the most out of it, the most out of your house, the highest price possible? How do you tell them that it is not necessary to call Open Door or to call any other company that they're trying to steal your property?
I'm going to tell you the honest answer to that, Tony, is you address it one-on-one, right? It has to be a personal conversation at some point. Maybe a video can help you create more conversations, but we need to have conversations with people that trust us. And for the people that trust us and people that are in our sphere and people that we've helped before, forget about, your own, need to make, X number of dollars this year. I mean, I think we have a moral obligation to talk to the people who look up to us as professionals to represent the industry well and give them the best advice possible.
And I'm going back to the new stuff.
Yes, no, that's for sure that you got to put the client first. You cannot look at yourself. You always got.
I muted you, Tony. You have to unmute yourself. There was some background noise.
Yes, you always have to put the client's wants and needs first. And if you can help, fine. If I cannot help them, like yesterday, I was in conversation with somebody there. I saw it was too complicated for me or whatever they want to do it. I said, listen, I am not the right agent for you. And I refer it to another agent that I refer to. So that's for sure. You got to put always the client's wants and needs first, because the more people you help, the more that it will help you, that they will help. That's for sure, because the client and the consumer knows right away, especially that we have salespeople, they know right away that you're just going for your commission. Oh, you just think about your commission. So you cannot make them think that way. Yes, you're right.
I like what you said, Tony. The more people you help, and that's the vision that we have to, grab a hold of, that we're helping people.
Oh,
it isn't in our own interest. We're helping people achieve their goals. We're helping people fulfill their dreams. We're helping people.
Yes, for
They
sure.
don't look at it that way.
You want to give your professional advice to them, and then certainly they have to make the decision. But if you help them understand where they at and where they want to go, then certainly, you can do the business, that you can make a business there of buying and selling whatever their goals are.
We talk to a lot of people every day. And most people just have a lack of trust in realtors because they think our job is so easy and we make all these big bucks. They think, well, you guys, all you do is put in a multiplicity and you get a closing and that's the end of it. You make big dollars and, you don't really care. And I said, well, you sit with a realtor for a week and let me show you what our job is all about. Because a lot of people just don't know. They don't know what goes into a sale, what goes into follow-up. I mean, it's just nuts. It drives me crazy when people say that stuff. I have to kind of take a deep breath and start explaining to them what our job really is, what we really do. With follow-ups, we're always putting out fires, especially now in today's market, constantly putting out fires, trying to find solutions to problems. They don't realize that. And that's what Tony was saying. You got to have conversations with people and let them know that we have value. We're here to help. It's pretty tough.
So Ron, would you ever hire a professional that doesn't have confidence?
Would I hire?
Would you hire a professional that doesn't have confidence?
No.
Would you hire a professional that doesn't have competence? No, right?
No.
So, and ironically, I think these statistics are something like 87% or maybe even 90% of people are satisfied with the agent that ultimately sold them the house or listed their house for sale. Okay. So the problem is the 10%, it's the tail wagging the dog in terms of the public. And that it's really that they don't understand what's involved in the entire process, in my opinion, Ron. And the only way that we debunk that myth is by having one-on-one conversations. And, we can, start to build the foundation for the relationship and our image. If you're talented enough to utilize video, okay, that's great. But I think ultimately, we have to have these one-on-one conversations. And I don't know, is Lisa M still on the call? Lisa Malcerisi?
Yes, I'm here.
So Lisa, what is the thing that you say when you go talk to somebody, you knock on their door? Do you want to sell their house or do you want to do what?
Help them. Help them in any way that I can.
And it's so key. And when you say, do you know anyone I can help? Nobody's nasty. Even strangers. Okay. And now people need our help more than ever. If you want to make a move and you don't believe that you can get it done because there's no inventory, okay? The way that they say that there's no inventory, don't you think the public would think inventory is down 90%? Wouldn't you think from the media that it's down that bad? I would, but inventory is down 60%. There's still 40% inventory. And in this type of environment, you really need to be specific about what you want, and you need to hire an agent that will give you the guidance so that you can get the job done. There is no inventory is a big fat lie. Inventory is moving quick. There's less home sales. And, this might be a good thing for you, not a bad thing. All right. I want everybody to be realistic, but I want everybody to be prepared. And I want everybody to be confident and excited to answer these questions of, well, I know the housing market, I know prices are still high, but if I sold, where would I go? I love that question. And you need to love that question. And if you don't love the question, you need to figure out how you can embrace it and how you can share with people who rely upon us. And in your case, Ron, it's the second and third generation of people that have, put their trust in selling their largest asset with you. We as a company put our trust in you to lead, the newer talent that we bring into the organization. And I'm real proud of that.
So Rob, I wanted to mention a couple of things if I could. I had actually had lunch this week with one of our agents, and he was talking to me about, what he could be doing to build his business, and the difficult time he had in trying to achieve that. And one of the things I said to him was, do the people in your town where you live know who you are and what you do? And he just kind of looked at me, and I said, that's the first thing you have to do. You have to let your neighbors know that you're a realtor. You need to be visible in the town where you want to be doing business. You need to frequent the restaurants, the bars, the sporting events, the fundraising events. You need to volunteer so that people see you involved in the community, and they will start to migrate to you as someone who is supporting them and supporting where they live. The other thing I wanted to mention is that, and I'll admit this because it's important to what I'm about to say to you, is that I'm not overly aggressively looking for business at my stage of life, but I will tell you that currently I have 4 clients that, 4 buyers. One was a referral from another agent. 2 and 3 of them were either previous client of mine or a previous client sent them to me. So, and that's a direct result of my staying in touch with previous clients. So please don't overlook your previous clients. They're the easiest people to get into a conversation with. And the last thing I wanted to mention is what I've been doing during this summer now is I've been inviting people over to my backyard for cocktails and just being able to sit around and talk to them, about what's going on with them. And invariably, of course, they're asking me about the real estate market, and just being able to casually, in a relaxed atmosphere, talk to them about it. And tell them one of the things that I talk about all the time is, let's not concern ourselves with that interest rates are 7% or 8% or 10%. I mean, back in 1981, when I bought my first place, it was 18.75%. But, in the time that I owned that place, I refinanced 3 times. So let's instead just look at, can I afford the payment that it's going to take me to buy this property? And if I can, then let's do it. Don't worry about the number. And in the course of the next year or 2 years or 3 years, you just will have accrued a lot of equity in your house, and you'll be able to reduce your payment by refinancing, and you're totally ahead of the game. So I just wanted to share, those are some of the conversations that I've been having.
Hey, Rob.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just to piggyback on Rob, one of the most reliable sources of leads and so forth for myself over the years has been something under all our noses. It's in every community. Chamber of Commerce is a big one. Local clubs, Kiwanis, Rotary, Lions, JCs, whatever it is, and churches and organizations in the church. I mean, those couple of resources have been thousands of dollars for me over the years, and they're mostly other business people, and they want to always do business with people that are doing business with them. So just food for thought again, to piggyback on Robert's thoughts.
There are so many things, Rob and Robert, that we can do. And now that, the market is transitioning, it's a perfect time to do that. Colleen, do you know what Michael Eisner's license plate is?
Oh my God, I can't. I think it's a thank
BMI.
you.
BNI.
BNI.
Business Networking International. He makes, I don't want to misquote him, but I want to say it's somewhere like $80,000 to $100,000 a year from Business Network BNI, his BNI group. Okay?
Absolutely.
And it's so lucrative to him that he put it on his license plate. Okay, I don't know if Heather the Hurricane is on here, but Heather the Hurricane had a story that was so so appropriate. It was a perfect metaphor for where we are right now. She was in a networking group. She was doing very well, and somehow they kicked her out of the group. And she was like, Rob, I had 4 transactions from there. I'm devastated. And she went and she started chapters in 3 or 4 towns. And I think this year she said she had 14 or 16 units from, you know, getting kicked out of the group. And the person that ran the group that kicked her out was complimenting her on her new networking chapters that she built out. So, look at challenge defines us. Okay,
Rob, Michael
challenge.
Eisner is on, so you can ask him what that number is.
Hey, actually, Rob, how you doing?
Hey, Michael, how are you?
Last Thursday alone on one deal, I put in 84,000 in commission as a thank you to a referral.
What is your license plate? Does it say BNI?
It says THX BNI.
Thanks, BNI.
And that's really an acknowledgement and a gesture of gratitude for me personally, so I don't forget how good it's been to me.
Well, Michael, thank you for sharing that. And look, there's lots of ways to provide value and put it out in the universe and thrive. But business is math at the end of the day. You do have to have a plan. You can't be so random and expect to have the outcome. And Michael, if you're still on, how often do you meet with BNI?
We meet every week, and that's why it works as well as it does. Because if you're in other organizations that meet once a month and you have 40 members, it takes about a year just to learn everybody's name and figure out what they do. So we not only meet weekly for an hour and a half, and our meetings are early in the morning, so everybody's out by 8:30. But we also have what we call power team meetings once a month, which are more smaller groups of more strategic alliances. So in the real estate power team, you'll have an appraiser and a mortgage broker and some of the contractors that do work. And that those people really drill down and figure out how to take one referral and turn it into 5, so everybody gets to eat from the same deal.
And I'll bet you they probably expect you to attend half of those events.
Well, if people want to get the most out of it, because it's a little over $2,000 a year to be a member for us, because our weekly breakfasts are $25, our weekly meetings. So, why would you spend that kind of money? And considering the value of your time for over 100 hours a year, that's an investment of time and money. Why would you do that if you weren't planning to take advantage of it?
And I think some groups even kick you out if you miss too many, right?
Well, you're allowed to miss 3 meetings every 6 months. On the power team events, which are held monthly, you're not obligated to go, but if it's working, you're going.
So you're allowed to miss 1 meeting every other month.
Yeah, you can miss 3 in a row if you want, and after that, they'll haul you in and say what's going on. Everything okay. They're not obligated to kick you out, but they if you're not participating in the other spokes on the BNI wheel, they're going to say, is it working for you?
So I'm honored that you're on the call. You're doing so great, Michael, and thank you for sharing that. I think the collective wisdom of our organization probably can accomplish anything. I mean, there's somebody in this organization that is the absolute best or among the absolute best in virtually everything. So I'm going to leave us with business is math, and your leadership team is here to help you. And if you feel a lack of confidence, or if you're in a little bit of a slump, reach out. We're here to help. If you're in Southeast Florida and you want to go door knocking on Saturday, it's hot. That's just the way it is. We just move on. If it rains a little, we get wet. If it's hot, we sweat. That's what we do. You know, I'm here to help. Optimistic about the future. I think this is a great time to do a reset, and nobody should, unless you're electively doing it, nobody should cut back their goals for the upcoming year. You should just revise your strategy and maybe employ a little bit more discipline. All right, and lean into others. There's no other questions. I want to thank everybody and wish you all a great weekend. All right.
Thank you so much, Rob, for sitting.
Thanks,
that meeting.
Rob.
Awesome.
Thank you, Rob.
Yes, thank you. And welcome again, Remax of Princeton.
Thank you.
To the family.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Rob, have a good flight.
Thanks, Rob.
Bye.